City of Aurora, Colorado, appropriating sums of money in addition to those appropriated in ordinance numbers 2016-50, 2017-15, and 2017-83 for the 2017 fiscal year and ordinance number 2017-50 for the 2018 fiscal year.
Thank you. And I have two speakers to speak to 12B, Rhonda Kelly and Dr. Eric Hill. If you please come forward.
Hello, I'm Rhonda Kelly. I had the privilege of serving the city as a firefighter paramedic with the department for 17 years until leaving last year to take on another project. The last 5 years of my career were spent as health and safety officer. During that time, I developed a specific passion for cancer prevention among firefighters. I'm here to speak in support of 12B and also to thank you for your attention to this matter. As you know, firefighters contract cancer at a rate far in excess of that of the general population. We know from research that much of this exposure is dermal in nature. It is absorbed through our skin. You've seen our bunker gear. It's very bulky. It looks like it should be completely impermeable. It's thermally protective. It does a very good job at that. It is not impermeable to small particulates. We also know from the research out there that soot, the byproduct of combustion, contains more than 400 known carcinogens. Additional research shows us that for every 5-degree increase in our skin's surface temperature, our skin becomes 400% more permeable to these toxins. It is imperative that firefighters have gear that protects them. One of the things that we see with firefighters, and I saw it myself during my career, is we take off our bunker gear and find soot all over, on our legs, on our arms, on our necks. We know that if we wait until we have cooled down, we've absorbed the bulk of that toxin. We also know that dirty gear is increasingly cancerous for firefighters. Each time that dirty gear goes back into a superheated environment, it allows that particulate matter to penetrate further and further into the bunker gear, increasing the deposition on the skin. Bunker gear age is limited by two factors. Regulatory, the National Fire Protection Association says we can't use gear that's more than 10 years old in interior structure fire attacks. The other degradation process is wear and tear. Some of it's physical, abrasions, lacerations, cuts, things that we can repair for a while. The other is chemical. This soot that we know is carcinogenic is also corrosive. It degrades its own fabric integrity over time. That's why it's so imperative to keep our gear clean. The firefighters inside are better protected and the gear itself is better protected. It was Aurora Fire's practice in the past to do a bulk purchase of bunker gear at 10 years per NFPA compliance. That's at roughly $2,200 a set. That was a pretty sizable bill and pretty ineffective. As we increased in busyness and runs, the fire department discovered that our gear wasn't lasting 10 years. It was succumbing to the physical and the chemical degradation. What we had proposed in the past was to start purchasing bunker gear 1/5 of the department at a time in 2012, having all the department in new gear by 2016, and then to start that cycle again so that all firefighters would have a second set of gear, which allows them to, after every significant structure fire, to send their gear in for laundering and go into new gear. The gear has to fit them. We come in all different sizes and shapes. We can't just have one set of gear that is a standard replacement for everybody. That plan, unfortunately, met its demise in 2016 when it was determined that we couldn't continue to purchase gear due to budgetary constraints. This new plan, proposing to buy a second set of gear now and then just limit to the purchases of 1/5 of the department in the future, is not only more fiscally responsible, but it is more responsible in regards to the firefighters' health and for the integrity of that expensive and protective equipment itself.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly.
Thanks.
Hello. My name is Dr. Eric Hill. I am the medical director for Aurora Fire Rescue. I'm here to obviously support this initiative to purchase additional bunker gear for our firefighters. Firefighting is a very risky business. It's cancer is the #1 cause of line of duty death of firefighters. Currently, about 61% nationwide of all line of duty deaths of firefighters is from cancer. Just being a firefighter alone gives them a 9% increased risk over the general population for cancer and a 14% increase in mortality of dying from cancer. The additional purchase of a second set of gear will allow them to essentially, after a fire, They can immediately not put that set of gear back in service. They have to immediately wash it, remove as many of the carcinogens as possible. Those coats and gear, when they come out, they're typically completely drenched and saturated with carcinogenic material. If they go back on more calls, that's just all over their skin. They touch it, they track that into people's houses as well. It's a good practice to immediately wash it and get rid of it. Get as much of the carcinogens as possible. I think in this case, just an ounce of prevention is worth the pound of cure, and I would like to appreciate the council's time for considering this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hill. Do you have a motion or discussion? Let's have a motion first.
Motion to approve 12B.
Second.
All right.
And I have a
Motion to approve by Councilmember Hiltz and second by Councilmember Bergen. Councilmember Hiltz?
I want to say thank you to everyone who's here, as well as our firefighters that we have in the back. This is a really important issue, and I know that one of the concerns that we've had in conversations is, do we have enough extractors, which are the carcinogenic washing machines, to address the increase in bunker gear? So I just wanted to clarify that we do. This is 220 sets for existing firefighters plus 50 to provide for 2 sets, well, a second set for 2 academies this year. That's about a 50% increase in total volume of bunker gear that we have now. And we are going to be opening 2 more fire stations this year, 1 next week and 1 at Gaylord by the end of the year, as well as a 3rd in early 2019, which I confirmed with Michelle Wolf today. So thank you for getting that to me so quickly at the last minute for me. So we are going to have the extractors available, and also it is up to the chief's discretion as to when he's actually going to roll these out. So by the time we actually get the procurement and order them and have everything custom fitted and then made and then sent back to us, we're going to be looking at a timeline out. So I really hope that we can include this and that we can take this first step, and that's it. So thanks, and thanks to everyone for being here in the back.
Thank you. Any more discussion? I want to say that I am certainly going to approve of this. I had a family member who is a firefighter, and he developed lung cancer. So I know it happens. It happened in my family. So I will be supporting this. Well, if there's no other discussion, call the question, please, for 12B.
You need to vote.
I know.
And 12B passes unanimously. Yay.